Why is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
I
Like
don't
the
know.
Aussies, we just don't have TV.
Oh, boo.
My
But-
mom had
but-
to ask me if I could plug in a phone so that we can watch my graduation on the TV because we just don't use it.
Well, but you do have another mascot for the show. Wait, I can never do this.
There we go. Okay. Oh, who is that? What is their name? What flavor of dog is that?
That's Jax. He's Yellow Lab.
What's his name?
Jax.
Jack with an X.
Yep.
I don't know what else you would spell it with.
KS.
Oh, Jack's with a Q. I don't know.
Yeah. His birthday's the same day as mine.
Oh, that's easy to remember now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how old is he?
He just turned a year old.
Oh, what was the party like?
Not
Surprise
much.
or?
A little bit. He got a cookie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well.
It was that your sofa he was sleeping on, and are you okay with that?
He's technically not supposed to be up here, but he's cute.
But
So
right.
it's
Yeah.
What happens. And
No,
look, it was part of your job to keep him quiet. So letting him be on the sofa was part of your job description.
Yeah, makes
That's a
sure
good
he
point.
sleeps the whole time.
Yeah, no, I mean when our cat is sitting up in a chair asleep like a human, I don't know what else you do other than just start taking pictures.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about Pancake.
Pan's doing fine. She is she's in charge. Let's just be honest. Warren
Okay.
Oates is sort of just a passenger on this train.
All right, that makes me feel better because I feel like Warren showed up on the scene and
No,
you never see
definitely.
her anymore.
With the kids, certainly everyone's leaning towards hanging out with Warren Oates. But Pancake, she's just got a look in her eye. She loves to sit by an open window and stare out at it. And she likes to come down to my office and sleep. And that's about all you need
It's
for a
pretty good.
kitten.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
she's living her best life. And then sometimes the fat kitten from across the street comes in and they sit on the either side of the glass, hissing at each other, and she gets squirrel tail. And
That's
but
perfect.
she's more feral. She doesn't like to be picked up. She doesn't like cuddling. She wants to be close, but she just doesn't want to be too close.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
it's trying to find that level of comfort for all involved.
All right. I feel better now.
Yeah,
Looks
Warren
like
Oates
our
will get right
cat.
up in your business and start biting feet and the whole 9 yards.
It's like Captain. Captain does that.
He's a feet biter.
Yeah, all of a sudden he wasn't before, but now he is.
Yeah, I have to lock him out of the bedroom because otherwise I'm waking up at 4 in the morning and someone's just staring at my toes underneath the blankets, trying to catch them. Oh yeah, it's real adorable.
This is Why, with your hosts, Heidi Hedquist and Luke Poling.
I have a whole ancestry story I want to run by you that I think
Ooh.
is promising for me.
Ooh. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I can't wait.
It's not that exciting, but yeah, I'm pretty stoked.
I told you that I found out that we're not really Swedish. We're actually Italian, right?
Oh, you did? Yeah, that's got to be a heartbreak. What are you going to do without those
No, are
braids?
you kidding me? I was so excited.
Have you started talking with your hands more?
Okay, no, it wasn't more. It was like it all made sense now because
I see.
I talk with my hands. I'm very loud and
Right.
dark and boisterous, and I'm all
You
about
always use
the Romans, bacchanalias, and baths. I mean, what else could girl
right.
want?
No, and is that why you kept using the phrase "that's a spicy meatball"? Is that why
Yes.
I thought you were trying to make it a thing. I couldn't tell.
Well, I should make it. Let's make it a thing.
I think we could bring it back.
We're like, hang in there, kitten, because that's a spicy meatball. But you got to say it
So
to like.
exactly. So here's my quick fun fact because I think I am going to be rich. So we were talking and doing some research into extreme pogo sticking, as one does.
Yes.
So the idea of a stilt using springs on each foot was patented in 1891 by a guy in Kansas for, quote, leaping great distances and heights. which is amazing. And this is considered an antecedent to the pogo stick. But the modern pogo stick was invented in Germany in 1920. So basically, the Germans were working on fascism and bouncing.
I mean, hand in hand.
Exactly.
Or one could have prevented the other.
One, you hope that you could just bounce away from fascism. And maybe
We
that's what
try.
these two guys were doing. The name Pogo comes from the first two letters of the two gentlemen's last names. There's Ernst Godschall,
Mhm.
Max Pohling, Pohlig, which is a common derivation, according to Ancestry, who keeps sending me links to articles about my grandfather saying, here's a hint that you might be related to this person.
Yes.
But what I think this means is I've got some pogo stick money coming my way.
Yeah, you do.
If there's any sort of inheritance that I would want to come my way that fits, I feel like my demeanor and the show,
It's
what is more than a pogo stick? There's nothing else.
Because I want to be able to tell everyone that you, my co-host, is heir to the pogo fortune.
I would like you to refer to me as the pogo baron.
Oh, you'd have to be a baron.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely getting a cape.
100%.
Downside is I'm going to have to learn how to pogo.
You can do it.
You think?
Sure. Just bouncing.
Perfect.
Bouncing and balance.
Right. Like you're great at those two things.
I'm not, but you are.
So you claim.
I am not the heiress to the pogo fortune.
That's true. Exactly.
So
yeah, I got to start using the phrase like, in the good name of pogo, or,
yes.
as a,
Think of the
I mean, really.
Like we could sell pogos for the show.
Yes.
Like
Y branded.
Yes, and the little bars could be like Flash.
Oh, I was going to say, I guess it'd be shaped as an upside down Y, which would just be awkward to bounce on. But if you put a little picture of Flash there, sort of like the Spider-Man themed kids.
Or his ears could be the handle, like flying.
Oh, yeah. So you could look like LBJ.
Mm-hmm.
And if I know kids like I think I do,
they love
LBJ.
They
love Lyndon Johnson references.
Yes, they do.
Love them.
It's a sensation.
To get started, congratulations on the new record.
Thanks.
Listening to it, it seems like a perfect antidote to what we are all living through.
Agreed.
And I don't just mean like the past 24 hours. How much of the past year was in your mind as you were putting the record together?
Well, it wasn't really. I'd love to tell you that this was all a reaction to what's happening in the world, but it's not. I wrote these songs and recorded them, got them recorded just before the pandemic began. So I really couldn't know all this stuff was going to happen. Couldn't know.
You could have just said you meant to do it, and
yeah. Do you want me to say that?
No. I think it's even better that it was sort of fortuitous and you didn't even know, and it just creates such an incredible mood from the first opening bars. It's such a great album.
Wow, I'm glad you think so. That's good. I was beginning to wonder about whether people will really like it or not. I don't know.
No, it's great. It's great. And the first song resonated like immediately with all the references to sugar. Felt like on top of everything else, but I felt like that conversation's been had in my own head and with me many times.
And it
Thanks, great. Thanks a lot.
Your recent records are much sparser than some of the earlier ones. And it almost feels like they were recorded in secret, that we're only the rest of us are getting to listen in on. Is that something you've sort of tried to put into the production, or are you just tired of dressing up your songs to take them out for dinner?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's more like that, dressing them up and take them out to dinner. No, I'm not going to do that. But I've been thinking about what I might want to do next. And I've been thinking, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I'm really thinking I should think about this album, right? I should think about what I'm going to do next. I won't do that.
No, it can always keep thinking forward. It's good.
Good, for sure.
Well, it is good. It is good if the timing is correct. But boy, I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know.
In looking back on so much of your career, and you've been a part of just so many iconic things, but so many things you've done quite often, kind of to Luke's point, people who aren't in the know. What is it like to be out and about and suddenly hear your songs on the radio or hear people reminiscing about the brilliance of Unplugged and perhaps not know that you're the mastermind behind all that?
Yeah, well, hearing the song, that could be a weird thing, is be in a store and hear the song. But, I'm not going to go up to the cashier and say, "This is my song." I'm not going to do that. So it just floats by me there. But, I heard, what did I hear? Oh, Alison Moyet doing "Whispering Your Name." And that wasn't very obvious because that was a song that was a hit in Europe and stuff, but it wasn't even a hit in America. I don't know what they were listening to, but it came on, and when I heard that, I thought, wow, that's really sort of strange that I'm hearing this now. But I couldn't say to somebody, "I wrote this." I can't really. It's just I listen to it and that's it. But the moment is over when it's over, when the song is over. That's it.
How long does it take you to catch it and be like, did I write this?
Yeah, that's what I should have done. I should have said to the person who was checking me out there at the waitress stand, I should have said, did I write this song? That would have been good.
Moving forward, that's the response. I think I wrote this.
I just think that's impossible. Come on.
When you Google to read more information, read reviews and interviews that you've done, I feel like the same words keep coming up again and again to describe your work. Beautiful, exquisite, smart, clever. You can jump in when you disagree. But is there something that you feel like people don't catch that you wish they would? I feel like there's a razor's edge on some of these songs. Like they will cut you if you're not careful.
Well, that may well be true, but it would be any way that anyone could like it. That's fine with me. I don't really think, oh, they didn't quite get it, but they still like it. That's good. I don't really think that. I just feel like if they like it, it's good. That's all there is to it. It doesn't matter how they like it or why they like it or anything like that. Yeah, I don't really know about stuff like the why people are liking it. I don't know. I don't understand it.
What's your process in crafting these? Is this something you work on 10 that you like and kind of really hone them, or are you constantly refining things and really by the time it gets to put together a record, it's an embarrassment of riches?
Well, I never really feel like the embarrassment of riches part. It's like I just come out to this room that I'm in right now, and if I come out here every day, by the end of the week, I'll come up with a couple songs, and that's good. So I'll just keep doing that. That's really the only process, is going out there and doing it, and not really thinking about what I'm doing or how I'm doing it or anything like that. I sort that out at the beginning, and figure, okay, this is the way I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing this with a little tape recorder, an acoustic guitar, or something like that, whatever. And that's really, I don't like to really burden it too much with thinking about how I'm doing it or why I'm doing it. I just do it.
Because so often you hear so much about, oh, I have to feel this and do this, and the fact that it's just organically oozes from you is That's pretty amazing.
Well, that's good that you think that, but I don't really know whether it's good or not. It's just the way I do it.
Well, it's worked. It's got to be good, right?
There's also like a Tin Pan Alley flavor to some of the new songs. And it sounds like from your last answer that you don't really sit down and go, all right, I'm going to write like Jimmy Van Heusen now. Did this just sort of naturally come out?
Yeah, it probably has something to do with what I've been listening to recently, but I don't really. It wasn't really concerted effort to do that. It was just like whatever. Really more like what I was listening to at the time, I guess, or what I happened to be listening to.
So what are you listening to these days?
Okay, that's a good question. What I do is I make compilations of songs, and what I do is go through albums that I have in my collection or whatever, and I go through and I hear a song that I like, and I go, okay, that goes on. So they'll end up with 20, 25 songs on an album, on an album, this stuff that I do. And when I have that many songs, I just go, okay, this will be great for listening to in the car. That's great. And so I just listen to it in the car. That's how I listen to stuff. That's really good for me because then I can listen to and have myself as the curator of these songs. And it's not like listening to a DJ playing something or other or anything like that. It's just like whatever I was listening to. So that makes the basis for whatever it is that I write on any album, I think.
You're pulling together a compilation and you're going through your albums and going through what you're listening to, whatever it may be, whether it's old collections, new collections of other artists. What have you recently either discovered or rediscovered that perhaps hit you differently? That's a song that maybe you went, oh my gosh, 10 years ago, this song was nothing to me. Now this has to go on this compilation.
Yeah.
This is inspiring.
I think that 10 years ago, the songs really basically, they sounded the same to me. I think I'm looking right now at all these CDs sitting in front of me, and I think that most of them are, first of all, older than 10 years, and probably closer to, I don't know, they could be closer to 40 years or something.
Well, yeah, details.
You'd have to hear one of these compilations to really know what it is I'm listening to. I don't know. Let's go on to something else.
No problem. We can easily go on. Although I would love to hear one of those compilations. So.
Okay, I'll get you your address when we're done with this, and I'll send you one.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Yes, thank you. I will
Okay.
honor it and keep it.
Then you'll be totally disappointed with it and go,
No.
oh God, this is what he's talking about.
Never.
Never, ever.
I think too, it's interesting. This most recent record, it seems more stripped down both musically and also graphically. Like you're becoming less and less interested in all of the marketing side of things, and you're just like, I want to write a good song and I want somebody to like it, and that's about it. Is that what you're really, after all of this time, really come back to be like, I want to write a good song? That's it?
That's what I want to do. And as far as anybody liking it, I really don't worry about that till after it's done. And then I'm like, oh man, what have you done? Listen to this thing. That can happen, but really, it's more like just like wanting to write the song at the moment and wanting me to like it. That's the thing.
So in taking a little bit of a turn and looking at some other aspects of your career, obviously your role and what Unplugged became is such an iconic part of MTV and many of our listeners' sort of discovery of different sides of music and different classic pieces of music. Tell us a little bit about how that came to be.
Well, I had made an album that was just me singing and Marty Wilson Piper, who was in the church at the time, and he was playing guitar. So he would play guitar and I would sing, and we would just do these songs. And I said, okay, this is an album now. This is an album. But I didn't know if it would be really legal for that to be an album, because it was just guitar and vocal. But I thought, maybe it'd be interesting if people heard other artists do songs that were really stripped down and really just guitar or piano or whatever. It would be totally unplugged. And then I thought, geez, maybe I'll do some kind of show. So I talked to a guy about it who I knew had done stuff like this, and he said, "Well, maybe we should ask a few people whether they'd be interested in this." So he went around and MTV said, "Yeah, we're interested." I thought, "Wow, that's cool. Okay, we'll try that." So that was the whole beginning of it. That was how it went.
We talked to Chris Hillman from the Byrds a week ago and talked about his first band that he was ever in was called the Scottsville Squirrel Barkers, which we said was probably one of the best band names possibly ever.
Yes.
But then you look at Jules and the Polar Bears, the Raisins in the Sun, the Reckless Sleepers. They're certainly up there. What was going through your head when you picked those?
Well, let me see. Jules and the Polar Bears would be Stephen Hague. Really came up with that name. And Stephen Hague, who was the keyboard player in the Polar Bears, ended up being the guy who produced Pet Shop Boys, and he produced a lot of albums in England, where he lives now. Stephen really said, "Hey, how about the Polar Bears? What do you think about the Polar Bears?" And I thought, that's kind of good. And somebody said, "What if I said Jules Shear and the Polar Bears? Would that be better?" I said, "No, it's too big, too long." So we kind of narrowed it down to Jules and the Polar Bears, and I thought, okay, we got that. So that was that one. Now, what were the other? Reckless Sleepers? Oh, that was just like seeing something in a let me see. I was somewhere overseas. I don't know where I was, but I saw something, a postcard of some Magritte paintings, and one of them was called Reckless Sleepers. And I thought, man, that would make a good name for a band.
You've done a lot of co-writing with other musicians. Do you, I guess I would say, enjoy? Do you keep going back to it? Is it, or do you much prefer to work by yourself?
I'd much rather do it myself. I think when I've done it, when I've written with the people, I've done it because it was something that my manager was encouraging me to do, or something like that, where and I would just go, okay, I'll give it a try. I don't know if it'll work. And usually I felt like it wouldn't really work so well. I just think, if you take a songwriter like Jimmy Webb, for instance, Jimmy Webb never co-writes with anybody, and I think he's better off for it. I think it's a thing where if I just write by myself, I can have all these little conversations that I would have with someone else. I would have them in my head, and they would take like 30 seconds rather than taking half the day. When I have to, and that's not reflecting on their unwillingness to like something or something. It would be more like that's just the way I prefer to do it. That's just the way.
The shorthand is there.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, I would just think that would be the way to do it, and I much prefer it that way. I don't like talking about it with other people too much. I like doing it myself, and times I've done it where, I did a whole album where I co-wrote the songs with Elliot Easton from the Cars.
Mm-hmm.
And on that album, Elliot sort of let me go with the words, and we wrote the music together. And that was totally different because I got to write the words all by myself, and I didn't have to ask him anything. And when I gave them to him, he would just learn them. And that was fantastic. That was the way I felt it should go. So it's that kind of thing, sitting in a room with somebody and going, should this go, I don't think I feel that good today, or should it go, I felt that good today, or something like that. And I don't think anything, that's the sort of thing where I would just be able to do that in a second if it was me by myself. When I have to do it with somebody else, it's really difficult. It's really hard.
And I have one final question for you. I'd like to know who that handsome devil on your shoulders is.
I wonder which photo that is you're looking at. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know.
Yeah. That's Clem, Clem, and Clem's been my dog for maybe almost 3 years or so.
Okay.
And he's from a place near here in Poughkeepsie, actually. That they get dogs. They get dogs that nobody wants.
Mm.
And yeah, I know it's sad. And my last dog had passed away, and so Clem is my fourth dog. She has been a fantastic dog. She's really small for one of my dogs. I just thought maybe at this point in my life it'd be interesting to have a small dog for some reason. and she's been just fantastic. I couldn't. I'm so fortunate that I got her, especially with the pandemic and everything. It's really great for me and my wife to have a dog that we really love. It's really good.
She's awesome. You can just tell from her picture. Well, Clem from Poughkeepsie is pretty awesome.
Jules' newest record, Slower, is available starting this Friday, November 13th, wherever you get your music. You can find links to order the album and a whole bunch of other stuff on his website, which is julesshearshow.com.
You can follow us on all the various socials. Our website is whythepodcast.com and has all sorts of additional stories and videos. It's also where you can sign up for our newsletter. We're also on YouTube if you're into that kind of thing. And don't forget to leave us a review on iTunes, because if you don't, we'll call your mother and tell her that she's completely right. You would look so much prettier if you smiled more.
Why the Podcast is part of Mudhouse Media. Today's show was produced by myself and Heidi Hedquist. Our reluctant executive producers are John Sauvé and Sandy Stone. Our willing executive producers are Rachel Allen and Randy Jeanette. Our graphic designer is Samantha Mustonen. The theme song was performed by the Electrosynth-O-Magnetic Polyphonic Orchestra. This one's for Philippe. Thanks for joining us. Flash, we're coming home.
Nigel, is that you? Are you here, Nigel?